Hello and welcome to my review of the Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig for Gloomspite Gitz for Warhammer Age of Sigmar from Games Workshop. Now this miniature will cost you £19 and only consists of 11 plastic components, and you get your 32mm round base. The format of this review is as usual. I'll have a look at the miniature in detail. There are no spare parts, so we'll go straight into the size comparisons with other Gloomspite Gitz miniatures, and then I'll go through all of the rules for this brand new Gloomspite Gitz mini. So first of all, it's a nice looking miniature. You know, it goes quite well with your stabbers and shooters. For the Loon clan, if you're going for that. He's definitely a stand-in model for Skarsnik. It's Skarsnik, written by Guy Haley, came out many years ago, but it's now coming back. It was voted back to come out in paperback. So if you wanted a miniature that looks very similar to Skarsnik, I mean, Skarsnik has one of these squigs on a tether, but Skarsnik's sort of head, helmet and staff thing are a bit different, but there you go. I really like this mini. The miniature would also go well with sneaky snufflers and, you know, near a group of squigs as well, if you're going for like a squig horde. Quite straightforward, simple to put together. You won't have too many issues. There are a few mold lines here and there, and you know, to get his face, his metal mask correct, requires a little bit of skill, but you know, he's standing on a mushroom, then he's got his other foot on there, and you know, that's where he falls on his base. The Gnasha-Squig does, you know, spill over the base a little bit, and that's his hooked staff. I like to think of him as some kind of squig herder, but yeah, there you go. That's the miniature. No spare parts, so we can go straight into some size comparisons. So we'll start off with a stabber, like a Moon Clan stabber. This is one of these on the 25mm base. Just gives you an idea of the size. These are very old miniatures now, and they're very small, but if you had him around some of those, then it'd work quite well. You know, it's like their little boss. Next to the Loon King himself, right here. You know, this, you know, I haven't done many Gloomspite Gitz reviews. There's going to be a lot of unboxings and reviews coming to the channel very soon in lieu of any Horus Heresy content. So I hope you'll enjoy it all. But that's where he stands next to the Loon King himself. A new miniature that was released alongside the Squigboss is the Snarlfang Rider. That's, you know, these Snarlfang Riders are awesome. They're so cool. They've surpassed my expectations. The wolves look incredible, and the Gitz on them look pretty good too. But that's where he stands next to those. These are bigger than I thought, and you know, this gives me hope that they'll release some spider riders that will be just as detailed. Speaking of spiders, here is a spider right here. So that's where he stands next to one of these Arachnaroks. Yeah, obviously Arachnaroks are huge minis for Gloomspite Gitz. So that's those. And then another big mini is a Troggoth boss. So that's where he stands next to those. I do like this range immensely, because you get some really big miniatures and then you get some really small miniatures, and I like the contrast. I've also got my bay, the Troggoth Hag, right here from Forge World. It's a resin miniature, but gives you an idea of just how big she is next to the Squigboss. And then another new miniature that came out with a warband, with a little warband, is Grincrack the Great right here. So I reviewed these Grincrack's Horde warband. I reviewed Grincrack's warband not too long ago on the channel, but that's where they stand. They're very similar, actually. And the final comparisons I like to make is just with some 40k minis, in case you're not familiar with any of those Age of Sigmar ones. So we've got a Space Marine here, probably half the height of a Space Marine, so it's quite a small mini. next to a Primaris. It doesn't even come up to waist level. And then I think Slimarbo's a fair bit taller. It's very, very odd to have size comparisons where Slimarbo dwarfs the comparison mini in question, but in this case he does. He's on the same size base too. And in this last part of my review, I will go through all of the rules for the Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig. So you'll find him in your brand new 3rd edition Gloomspite Gitz Battle Tome, and he's actually near the front of all of the units, straight after the Loom Boss and the Madcap Shaman, and he's in front of the Loom Boss with Giant Cave Squig 2, which is probably more akin to Skarsnik because of the staff and the sort of head apparatus. So the Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig is a single leader model and it will cost you 80 points. Its profile is a movement of 5 inches, save of 6+, bravery 5 and 4 wounds. So a little bit worse than the Loom Boss with Giant Cave Squig, which has a better save of 5+ and way more wounds, 7 wounds. A Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig is armed with a Squig Crook, and companion, this unit is accompanied by a Gnasha-Squig armed with a fang-filled gob. So the Squig Crook, which is his weapon, it's a range of 2 inches, it's 3 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -1 to rend, and 2 damage, and damage 2. The Gnasha-Squig's fang-filled gob is a range of 1 inch, 3 attacks, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend -1, and damage 1. Actually not as good as the Squig Crook, which is a bit odd. I'd like to see the fang-filled gob be at least as good as a hooked staff. Mycophial or Mycophile's pouch. In your hero phase, you can pick one friendly Squig unit within 3 inches of this unit to be fed a batch of shrooms. If you do so, apply one of the following effects to that unit. Each effect lasts until the start of your next hero phase. The same unit cannot be fed a batch of shrooms more than once in the same phase. So you've got a few of these shrooms. Crimson Deathcap, add 3 inches to that unit's move characteristic. It's pretty good. Yellow Lurker. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by that unit with a fang-filled gob, massive fang-filled gob, or huge fang-filled gobs is 6, that attack causes 1 mortal wound to the target in addition to any damage it inflicts. It's pretty good, that one. And then Sproutin' Moon. Add 1 to the attack's characteristic of that unit's fang-filled gob, massive fang-filled gob, or huge fang-filled gobs. Another ability, Release to Squigs. Once per battle at the start of your hero phase, you can say this unit will release to Squigs. If you do so, each friendly Squig herd unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit can make a normal move. That's pretty good, so they can make that normal move within 12 inches. Keywords: Destruction, Gloomspite Gitz, Grot, Squig, Moon Clan, Hero, Squigboss, Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig. So there you go. That's my review of the Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig. Very specific unit. Don't leave home without one if you're building like a Squig herd army. You know, if you don't have any Snarfang riders and you have Squig hoppers, Mangler Squigs, Bounders, you know, no Troggoths. If you're purely going for Squigs, this is the unit to take with you because you can feed them those mushrooms. You've just got to be within 3 inches of the Squigs at all times. So bear that in mind. On his own, he's not going to cause a huge amount of damage. I mean, he's only got 3 attacks, and then the Gnasha-Squig's only got 3, and he doesn't really have a save for all those wounds, and he doesn't move that far either. But that's where a Loom Boss with Giant Cave Squig is a bit more powerful. Got a better save, more wounds. The massive fang-filled gob is better because it has more attacks and it has a damage of D3, and also that Moon Prodder is a better weapon, but it won't buff your other Squigs like this Squigboss can. What do you guys think of the Squigboss with Gnasha-Squig? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Loon King protects.